Today, TeleFox will be teaching you how to set up RAID inside of your Windows server. For this case scenario, we do have to add 2 more hard drives to the virtual machine, and it's a fairly easy process. So we open up Oracle VM VirtualBox, we highlight our server, we click on Settings, we go to Storage, and then here, under the IDE controller, we want to click on this disk as a square and then a disk in the middle. We want to create a new disk. We'll select the default VDI. The other VHD, VMDK, these could be moved to different type of VirtualBox situations, but for this case scenario, we will choose the default VDI. We want fixed size, and we want both hard drives to be 50 gigabytes. So we'll do 50 gigabytes right there. Actually, let's do a little bit less. Let's do 30 gigabytes. Has a default name of new virtual disk 1. That's perfectly fine, and then we're going to click create. This process could take some time, about 3 minutes. And then we're going to do that again for the secondary disk so we can deploy RAID. So we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, the first disk is created. It's 30 gigabytes. So what we want to do is create another disk, exactly the same size, so we can implement RAID. It's fairly easy. We do this once again. Click on the server that you want to add a disk to. This is Windows Server 1. Click on Settings. Click on Storage. Then click on the square box with a circular disk inside of it. Then we're going to create a new disk. Fixed size 30 gigabytes. And we'll call it New Virtual Disk 2 because we already have New Virtual Disk 1. And then click Create. This, of course, will take another 5 to 10 minutes. Now, as you can see, we have the 2 virtual disks created. They are the same exact size. And they have the name of New Virtual Disk 1 and New Virtual Disk 2. So from here, we need to start the server and then format the 2 hard drives so that way we could implement RAID. So we'll go ahead and do that next. Go ahead and click OK. And then start your server. Now that we're logged on to the server, what we want to do is bring up the disk manager. So we type in the search bar disk manager. And then we want to click on the program that says create and format our disk partitions. Or alternatively, we could open up the control panel, click on View By, small icons, click on the administrative tool, and then click on Computer Management. From here, we should be able to select Disk Management. And then we want to go ahead and format these 2 disks to have GPT. Click OK. Alright, now we have to format the disks. So what we want to do is do a simple mirrored or simple striped. And so this is simple volume. This is the spanned volume, so it's a type of RAID. And then striped volume, which is a RAID as well. But what we will do is do mirrored volume. Now for your case scenario, you would use the RAID configuration that is most suitable for your server and your production network. Okay, so we will go ahead and right click the first one, the top one, click on new mirrored, and we will just go through the default configuration. So as you can see, it picked up disk 1 and it picked up disk 2. So that way it can mirror both of the configuration status. So what you got to do is you'll see a pool of drives on this left side. You would highlight it and then click on add. So now we have disk 1 and disk 2 to be configured as a RAID 1 configuration. RAID 1 is mirrored, so if one disk goes down, you just replace that disk with a new disk, creating a good security measure for your data. Let's click on next. Here we want to format the volume. We will keep the default settings with NTSF, default allocation unit size, and the volume we will name RAID 1 data. We'll perform a quick format and then click next and then click finish. And then what we want to do is go ahead and select yes. This says the operation you selected will convert the selected basic disks to dynamic disks. If you convert the disks to dynamic, you will not be able to start installed operating systems from any volume on the disks except for the current boot volume. Are you sure? So this is not going to mess with the C drive, our boot drive, so it should be good. Click on yes. And as you can see, we have configured RAID 1 for drives 1 and drive 2. They both have the volume of E, and they're both healthy. So now you could start storing data on your RAID configuration. You would do this if you wanted specified RAID volumes. That's fairly easy and straightforward. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and don't hesitate to contact Telefox for all your consulting needs. You have a good afternoon.